I came to Cleveland to work for Kevin. That's really the reason I took this job 2 years ago. Like, think the world of him, still think the world of him. Really, like, fortunate for the support he's given me over the last week, the support he's had for me over the last couple of years. Like, I wanted to come to Cleveland to work for Kevin. I think the timing of it, you have a bye week, you have some time to step away and look at things through a different perspective and want to create a spark for the offense. And, again, like, how I feel is whatever they want me to do, whatever's asking me to help us win games, that's what I want to do.
What if I told you the Browns' new offensive coordinator just blew the lid off the whole Shedeur Sanders saga, and it wasn't the underdog fairy tale fans were praying for? Tommy Rees just dropped a reality check so raw it left Cleveland fans clutching their phones in disbelief. Forget the feel-good story. This was a cold dose of truth wrapped in football chaos and served with a side of shock. Right now, the Browns' offense looks like somebody tried jump-starting a car that's been rotting by Lake Erie since winter.
Is telling the truth about Shadur Sanders potentially playing and what it's like, Coach, at the bout, speaking about Shadur Sanders and his offense. Now, we know the Browns' offense cannot get going in any shape, form, or fashion. It is pretty much a nightmare out there for this team. Now, Tommy Rees spoke with the media today.
The engine coughs, lights flash like it's a club night, and just when it feels like it might actually roar to life, boom! Someone realizes they never even turned the key. That's Cleveland's vibe these days, confusion and chaos dressed up as strategy. And right in the middle of this beautiful disaster walks Tommy Rees, the guy hired to turn this rusted ride into a rocket ship. Reporters expected hype, motivation, maybe even a "we're back" speech. Instead, Reese served the kind of brutal honesty that smacks harder than a Myles Garrett tackle. He didn't sugarcoat a thing, not even close. He basically told the world, this offense? Yeah, it's a group project where nobody's done the reading. That line alone sent shockwaves through the locker room. Coming from Notre Dame and Alabama, Reese isn't used to chaos. He's used to order, to programs where playbooks are sacred and quarterbacks don't have to reintroduce themselves to their receivers mid-game. Now Cleveland's wondering, hey, was this a wake-up call or a warning shot? But Cleveland? Oh, this is the wilderness, baby. And no one packed a map. The bye week was supposed to be a miracle cure, a moment to breathe and rebuild. Instead, it just gave everyone enough quiet time to realize how broken things truly are. Reese didn't drop any names, but every sentence screamed the same painful truth. We've got talent, but nobody knows what to do with it. That's not a scheme issue. That's an identity crisis in shoulder pads. The passing game? Forget about it. It's turned into a community art project gone horribly wrong. Reese said it takes all 11, which in coach speak means stop blaming the quarterback because literally everyone else is blowing assignments too.
Even if there aren't a ton of reps to go around, you got to be creative with how you create some extra reps, specifically to get Shedeur ready if you can't get a bunch of reps there. So the good news is both guys are bought in and doing a good job of working hard and understanding how important those opportunities are, to be ready for the team. So it is a unique situation. I don't know how many times it's probably happened, but probably not a lot. And we have the right two guys mentally right now in their demeanor and how they're.
And that's when Shedeur Sanders slips into the picture, not by name, but by situation. Because right now, that trust level between coaches and quarterbacks is lower than Cleveland's red zone success rate. Reese did the usual dance, talked about collaboration, process, rhythm, the greatest hits of coach language, translation. We've tried everything short of calling in an exorcist. He admitted he's working with the quarterbacks, trying to understand what makes them tick, which is basically code for, we're guessing, but hey, at least we're guessing together. He even threw in a wild comparison. Back at Notre Dame and Alabama, calling plays felt like driving a Ferrari. Smooth, sleek, and deadly fast. But in Cleveland, it's more like pushing a shopping cart with one busted wheel through a parking lot in a thunderstorm. Every snap feels like a new episode of Survival TV. Unpredictable and slightly terrifying. The media tried fishing for some optimism, desperate for a silver lining, but Reese wasn't playing that game. Every answer he gave was dipped in realism so cold it could freeze Lake Erie solid. When asked about improving the passing game, he talked about resetting and finding what actually works, a fancy way of saying, we're still looking. He mentioned trying to stress defenses in new ways, which is almost comical because right now the only ones stressed are Cleveland's defenders, stuck on the field for eternity while the offense keeps trying to remember which direction the end zone is in.
Because like I told you guys, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors with this Shadur Sanders situation, man. Because we've seen footage of him in practice lighting it up. We've seen media reports. We've seen the fan out there in Cleveland on their radio show and their podcast talking about Shadur Sanders is lighting it up in practice. And a lot of people have been at practice and they seeing what Dylan Gabriel is doing.
Reese isn't wrong, though. This offense desperately needs a spark, and fast. When reporters asked how the team would look now that he's officially calling plays, his answer was basically, "Ask me next week," which is coach translation for, "Right now, I'm just trying to make sure everyone lines up in the right direction." He laughed it off, but the truth behind that joke hit hard. Reese explained that every play caller puts their own twist on things. Stefanski's got his style, and Reese has his translation. "It'll look a little different," he said, "but if we're still scoring 10 points, please don't tweet me." That line alone had the press room cracking up because he's not wrong. At Alabama, every drive looked like pure poetry, flawless and elegant. But in Cleveland, it's slam poetry read off a wrinkled napkin in a dimly lit dive bar. The chaos is real.
And him and everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good. He looks really good.
Yes.
He looks better. And we got Zach that say Dylan Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback.
That's true.
So how is it that this man can't get a rep with the ones, but that non-NFL quarterback can?
We all
what
agree with
sense
that.
Does that make?
It makes no sense.
Clearly, the guys running the team disagree with us.
Man,
It doesn't make any
and they're
sense.
the ones
what are y'all trying to? What?
Still, Reese isn't hiding from the truth. It's not that Cleveland lacks talent. They've got weapons everywhere. Wideouts with speed, tight ends with hands, running backs who can bulldoze or glide. But as Reese put it, having weapons doesn't matter if no one knows how to use them. That line stung, because it's true. The Browns' offense has officially become the NFL's version of trying to build IKEA furniture without the instruction manual. Every week they pull out a new set of plays, screw a few things together, step back and hope to God it looks like a chair. And Reese, being the smart operator he is, delivered it all with a side of coach diplomacy. That "he's still my boss" tone, where you compliment the system while quietly begging for a reset. He made it clear, Stefanski's still in charge, but the keys have been passed.
Place, to answer, to even be able to give the answer to that. I feel like it's not in my control. So I'm not even going to think about that or have that even in my thought process of why it is. Like, it's a lot of people that want to have the opportunity to be at this level, and I'm here, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity. So whenever that is, it is. But it doesn't make me feel down, or it doesn't make me feel left out or anything, because I know who I am as a...
At least for now. Still, Reese isn't promising miracles. When reporters pressed him on what fans should expect from his offense, he dodged the question smoother than a quarterback rollout. He talked about making receivers more comfortable, reducing drops, and finding rhythm. Nice thoughts, sure. But Cleveland's receivers dropping passes has become more of a holiday tradition than anything else. The funniest part? Reese actually said, "We just need rhythm," like it's something you can download from the App Store. The Browns don't need rhythm. They need a seance, a ritual, maybe even divine intervention to bring this offense back to life. And that brings us right back to the Shedeur situation, because fans swear rhythm starts with new blood. They've been chanting for him to take over yesterday.
Now, and he's not getting any first-team reps. It also doesn't make sense that he's not being considered to play any games this year, regardless of what we've been hearing. But this is the first time I've actually heard something that has to do with the planning and the development of any of the Browns quarterbacks, especially when it comes to Shedeur. They are being honest. Well, he is being honest. Tommy Rees is being honest with saying that, like, look, he's not going to get a ton of looks, but we're going to maximize.
Convinced he's the spark that'll wake this offense up. But Reese, he's not living in fantasy land. He's living in the real world, where throwing a rookie into pure chaos doesn't end in a touchdown. It ends in trauma. He's not about to toss Shedeur into a hurricane and hope lightning magically turns him into Superman. He's seen this movie before. Talented young quarterbacks hyped beyond reason, handed the weight of a city, and crushed by the pressure before they ever had a real chance. Fans, though, they don't want patience. They want fireworks. They want action now. But Reese, he's preaching calm while the whole fan base is screaming for a storm. He even talked about how his past experiences taught him to block out the noise, handle pressure, and focus on execution, a survival skill in a town where every interception becomes a headline. And yes, he's staying up in the booth, his best vantage point, as he called it. And honestly, who can blame him? From up there, he doesn't have to see the crowd's faces when the offense sputters for the 10th straight drive. It's peaceful in a tragic way. Just him, his headset, and the faint sound of missed opportunities echoing through the stadium. Reese has the pedigree, the resume, the smarts, the mindset. But this Cleveland offense, it's like taking over a band where half the members forgot how to tune their instruments. He's rewriting the sheet music from scratch, trying to get everyone in sync before the next big performance. It's messy, it's loud, and it's testing every ounce of his patience. Meanwhile, somewhere in the background, Shadur Sanders waits like a storm cloud building strength. He's studying, learning, polishing his potential, and maybe even laughing a little at the circus happening in front of him, because deep down, he knows his moment is coming. Just not yet. Not while Reese is still trying to teach the bass player to stop drumming and the quarterback to find the right key. The truth is, Reese doesn't hate the spotlight. He just can't stand fake hope. In a league where every press conference is stuffed with delusion, his honesty hits like cold water in a stadium full of hot air. It's blunt, it's refreshing, and it's got the whole city of Cleveland sitting up straight for once. But don't think for a second he's done talking, because in Cleveland, done talking usually means everyone's crying during film study. Not this time. Reese wants continuity, something this franchise hasn't seen since cassette tapes were still a thing. When a reporter asked if he planned to let the tight ends cook, Reese's expression said it all. You could almost hear the sarcasm dripping off his words. The tight ends have been cooking all right. They've just been cooking the wrong plays.
Because the first few people, and when I say few, I mean 4 or 5 people that y'all put in front of the media when y'all ask about Shedeur, other than saying I don't know or no, you actually gave a thought out plan that we can go with. We understand that he's a second string. We understand that he didn't come into the season a second string, but at least be a professional and give us a plan on how you plan on developing him if you...
That moment summed it up perfectly. The man's trying to clean house, not host a pity party. He's tightening bolts, scraping off rust, and preaching patience like a mechanic who just found out the car he's fixing was built on bad luck and false promises. The players, they're listening, cautiously, maybe even hopefully. But the fans, they're miles ahead, already daydreaming about Shedeur Sanders running wild, breaking tackles, and saving the season. Reese, though, isn't feeding that fantasy. Not yet. He's not a magician. He's a mechanic. And right now, the Browns' offense is still on the lift, half-assembled, missing parts, and leaking confidence. It's officially that time of year again. Cleveland's annual identity crisis. A new playbook, a new coach, and the same old confusion wrapped in fresh optimism. And standing right in the middle of this glorious chaos is Tommy Rees.
Yeah.
And this is going, I mean, no disrespect to all you Shedeur lovers.
Oh boy, here it comes.
But if Shedeur,
I'm gonna move over here.
If Shedeur Sanders was a bona fide first round pick,
yes,
there would be nothing that would stop an
that is correct.
organization
You
from
are
taking that guy.
1,000% You are correct.
Because I just watched, what's the kid from Marshall?
But there won't be people, there'll be people that won't believe you, but you're right. Now, that being said, not that we want to go down this whole road, I don't think he dropped to the 5th round.
I agree. No, I agree with you.
He didn't. He didn't get taken.
I agree.
Not getting taken in the first round.
Clearly, watching him in practice.
Fresh off the Alabama roller coaster, now holding the clipboard in Cleveland like a man wondering what he just signed up for. He's trying to teach rhythm to a team that barely remembers the melody, and honestly, it's like trying to teach a cat to swim. Awkward, unpredictable, and just a little bit tragic. But give him credit. He's not backing down, not even knee-deep in quarterback drama and offensive confusion. Mystery man Shadur Sanders, the internet's favorite highlight reel, and Cleveland's latest obsession. Fans swear there's a secret plan brewing, convinced Tommy Rees is hiding something. They think he's protecting his job, holding Shedeur back like a secret weapon. Meanwhile, Reese is probably just trying to find a center who can snap the ball without sending it straight into orbit. Because let's be real, the NFL doesn't hand out practice reps like candy. You don't get snaps because you went viral on TikTok. You get them because you actually know the playbook. And right now, that playbook looks like it's in intensive care. Sure, Shedeur might be the future, but Cleveland can't even handle the present. The offensive line's got more holes than a fishing net. The receivers look allergic to getting open. And half the play designs feel like they were drawn during a blackout.
Against some tough competition, tough guys. So that goes to show you that Dylan Gabriel is getting all the reps in training camp and in practice. Because Tommy Rees just said himself, he's been thrown in situations with some stiff competition. That means that he's going up against the first team Cleveland Browns defense in practice. Shedeur Sanders doesn't get them opportunities.
Reese isn't ignoring Shedeur. He's just trying to stop the whole offense from catching fire before September even starts. That's the environment the kid's walking into. Not a polished NFL machine, but a science experiment gone slightly mad. And you can see it. Shedeur's itching to play, standing on the sideline watching, learning, but you can tell it's eating him alive. The guy's a competitor through and through, but Reese knows something the fans don't. Tossing him into this chaos right now would be like dropping a Ferrari engine into a busted go-kart and expecting it to win the Indy 500. It'd be a waste of horsepower. Fans keep saying he's scared of Shedur's talent, but it's not fear, it's strategy. Reese isn't doubting the kid, he's protecting him. While Twitter builds conspiracy theories, he's sitting in his office, buried in film, trying to figure out how his offensive line turned a basic protection scheme into an abstract art project. Reese isn't downplaying Shedur's potential, or far from it. The kid's got the full package: arm strength, field vision, swagger, and that unteachable calm under pressure. But none of that means anything if the offense can't protect him long enough to show it. And let's be honest, right now, the Browns' protection scheme looks like it was drawn in crayon by someone who's never seen a football field. Reese has been in Cleveland for barely 5 minutes, and already he sounds less like a coach and more like a therapist, soothing a locker room, teetering on a full-blown breakdown, while the whole city screams for a miracle.
Maybe they think to themselves, we don't need to give you these many practice reps because we're going to give you a bunch of game reps. So maybe we just want to get you rested. He is coming off a sore shoulder and all those things. So maybe that's the case. I don't know. But I don't like it that much. I don't at all. I think that going into this game, sitting some of the best wide receivers that you have is kind of diminishing him a little bit as well, because
Tommy Rees, to his credit, isn't falling for the hype train. Not even a little. He's seen it too many times before. He's watched bright young players get hyped into the stratosphere, only to crash back down before the season even ends. He's seen headlines turn heroes into hashtags overnight. So instead of chasing the noise, he's zeroed in on the boring fundamentals: blocking, timing, execution, the unglamorous stuff that actually wins games. This offense doesn't need another pep talk, it needs therapy, because right now, every time they get a first down, it feels like a happy accident. You can tell Reese is already shifting the culture, though. The energy at practice looks different, tighter, sharper, more focused. Players actually look like they know why they're there again. The results aren't showing up on the scoreboard just yet, but you can feel the tone change. There's accountability in the air for the first time in forever. But here's the part that most people don't get. Reese isn't here to entertain. He's not in Cleveland to play politics or give the fans a headline. He's here to build something that actually lasts, something that won't collapse the moment adversity hits. And believe it or not, that's exactly why this whole situation is hilarious. Because the fans are freaking out over the one guy who's finally doing things the right way. Reese is out here choosing structure over chaos, logic over hype, and that's a shock to a fan base that's been addicted to drama for decades. He's not about to chase clicks or play favorites. He's building discipline brick by brick, even if it's not sexy football. So when you see those viral headlines screaming, "Tommy Rees was brutally honest about Shedeur Sanders," just know, this isn't some coach stirring drama. It's a man drawing a line in the dirt and saying what every coach secretly wishes they could say. Let's learn to play as a team before we start building statues. That's not shade, that's leadership.
How can this kid that was rated as a late first-round draft pick not get on the field for a team that sucks? They're not even giving him reps. That's on the coach, man. Stefanski's going to have to answer for that, and it might come at the end of the year, and it might come in the form of firing. What is going on? Does he have I don't want to...
Reese knows the spotlight's going to find Shedeur sooner or later. Talent like that doesn't stay in the shed Euros for long, but he also knows the NFL doesn't hand out praise for potential. It only respects one thing: production. And production only happens when the system actually works. That's why Tommy Rees isn't here to babysit egos or chase viral moments. He's here to rebuild this broken offense from the ground up, one brutal truth and one disciplined drive at a time. And if history tells us anything, that process is going to be messy, awkward, and maybe even a little hilarious. But that's exactly what Cleveland needs right now. Not another Band-Aid, not another quick fix savior fantasy, but a real plan that lasts. Because this franchise has spent too long chasing the next miracle instead of building one. So yeah, when Reese dropped that brutally honest truth bomb, it wasn't disrespect. It was hope disguised as hard reality. It means, for once, someone's actually gripping the wheel with both hands, steering this chaotic ship with purpose instead of panic. And when the smoke clears and the dust finally settles, maybe, just maybe, Shadur Sanders will step onto that field, not as the desperate savior fans begged for, but as the ultimate reward for finally doing things the right way. And in Cleveland, that wouldn't just be a win. That would be a full-blown miracle. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next one.